Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, welcome. My name is TJ Sparkle, and basically this channel is a bit of everything. Makeup, mental health, and as you can see by the title of the video, this is going to be a story time about my son. I just quickly wanted to show you a couple of pictures of my son to begin with. I know the quality is not great, but this is him at a photo shoot. This is him when he was a bit smaller. This is him on the day that he was born. This one here is actually him and his sister together. I don't know if we can look at if you look up close, they're both doing the same thing. This is me and Caden. This is Caden and my daughter. This is a more recent picture of him. That's him again when he was a little baby. And I thought it'd be cute to show you these. This was the first piece of a little vest that he wore. It was so tiny. And this was his first baby grow. I know it might be disgusting, but it's still got his baby smell on it, so I haven't washed them. Even though he's nearly 10, I still haven't washed them. And also what we're going to be looking through is this. Next to me, I've actually got, let me just show you. This is his special box, which I keep a lot of things in. Because this video is quite negative, to be fair. You know, I just wanted to show some positive things before we started on with the negative. And also this. This is a card that he made me last year in 2018. And it's just a couple of balloons and some writing. And it says, "Dear Mummy, the reason I'm calling you Super Mum is because of everything you've been through. You have been strong and fought yourself to the finish. And that's why I love you. So carry on being that strong mum that you are. Lots of love, Caden. P.S. You're beautiful." Oh. Right, so basically what this video is going to be about is I'm going to be speaking about what led up to me having to call social services and my pregnancy. So basically I had been living on the streets in London, and I came home and my friends and I went to someone's house. His name's Michael. And he is 17 years older than me, and he basically groomed me into the situation where I ended up being his girlfriend. You know, he gave me a roof over my head, he promised to put food in my tummy, and back then I thought sleeping with him was my way of contributing. I know it's messed up, but there you go. I fell pregnant. Now, it didn't take Michael long to start being violent towards me. The first time that he was violent was when I was 10 weeks pregnant. And basically what happened was, hang on, let me just get them out so that I can show you. Basically, the reason that I had to go to the hospital is he was violent towards me. He had grabbed, I was bruised all underneath here, I had false love bites on my neck, and also he stabbed me with a samurai sword, a blunt one, but anyway. So I was taken up to the hospital to be checked on, and I had to have a scan. Here we go. So this was the scan that was taken. And on the back it says 10 weeks and 4 days, waving at Nanny and Grandad. This was taken when Daddy hurt me when I was moved to a refuge in Harlow. So basically, after he had assaulted me, they sent me to live in a refuge up in Harlow, a women's refuge. And I was so lonely up there. I had undiagnosed mental health problems. I was only 17. And basically I went back to Michael in the end, because that place was scaring me. I was so far apart, and he was begging me, saying that he wouldn't do things like that again. So I went back. They did continue, but basically, let me just show you the other scans that I've got. So this was my 12-week scan. 12 weeks and 4 days, and he was stuck in his little thumb. Then this was 22 weeks and 3 days. He did nothing but wiggle the whole way through. They thought you was a little girl, but then wiggled and saw that you was a little boy. And then this one was the first scan I went for, and you can see this is actually Michael's writing, and at the bottom it says baby, Caden or Ruby. So yeah, so that was that. All through my pregnancy did go a little bit smoother, but then at 24 weeks I basically I was attacked in the street, and I had my pelvis fractured, and I was taken up to the hospital, and they were worried that I was having internal bleeding and stuff. And that's when Michael wrote this in his, that like they said that I could die basically. So this is why Michael wrote what he wrote. But this is like waiting for baby, and it says dad, and he wrote, can't wait to see my little man. I was worried about your future upbringing, but I love you and your mummy so much, even when we argued, but the pregnancy to me went so fast. Love you. P.S. Your poor old mummy went through hell and high water to keep you alive, through all the odds, little man, so always love and respect your mum, living or not. I just put excited but nervous towards the end, in a bit of pain. So basically, towards the end of my pregnancy, the SPD, which if you don't know what that is, they do call it pelvic girdle pain now, but it's called symphysis pubis disorder, which if you want to look that up, but it basically, during pregnancy, it just makes things a lot more painful. So yes, when I got to, I think, 36 weeks, I saw my consultant and I said, I need to be induced. I need this baby out. I was getting like prenatal depression. So basically they wrote me up and I was induced. I was in labour for 4 days. And then they passed him to me, and I was waiting for the rush of love that you supposedly get when your baby's born, and I was looking at it and I was just waiting for it to come, and it didn't come. So like I was struggling with that. I didn't understand. I thought, well, maybe it'll come later. So basically we were let home. I was finding it difficult to breastfeed as well. And then basically when my son was 2 weeks old, he was rushed into hospital because they thought that he had meningitis. He had viral meningitis in the end. He had to have lumbar punctures and stuff, but basically he was only 2 weeks old. And whilst we were waiting to be seen, I was trying to breastfeed Caden, and Michael kept touching Caden's face. So obviously Caden thought that the hand was my nipple, so he would turn, and I don't know how many times I said to Michael, can you please stop, because I'm trying to breastfeed, and where you keep kissing him on the face and touching him, he's turning away. And then he went to lean in for like a 6th time, and I just went like that, and like to push him, and he grabbed my arm and he twisted it and he broke my arm. He obviously ran off. The nurses, I had to leave my son to go and get my arm x-rayed and put in plaster cast. The police were coming, and basically that's when social services and the police descended upon me. Michael was eventually arrested and he was put in prison. and he was remanded, I think, and stuff. And basically, social services I was forced into being a single parent. I had to move hostels. I went from living in one hostel to another so that he wouldn't know where I was. But he found me. I'll talk about that in a bit. But basically, I was literally all me and Caden had was one room, and then like we had a shared kitchen with someone, and there was nowhere for me to escape if Caden, because Caden used to cry so much when he was a baby, so much, and I just couldn't cope. There was nowhere for me to go and to leave him. And basically, as the weeks went by, my postnatal depression got worse. Like, if I went to the ATM, I would purposely turn my back on the pushchair and like use the ATM. And like when I turned back round, the things I'm saying, I'm only saying them, you know, because I'm trying to be honest. I wish that someone had just run off with him. You know, those were the thoughts that I was getting in my head. You know, I would wish that someone would just come and take him. And I know that sounds awful, but I was struggling so bad. I'm not gonna cry. I was struggling so bad, so bad. So the next thing that, you know, I just kept pushing on. And where I was living in the hostel, a lot of the people were noticing that I was picking him up, burping him like away from me. I would change him and then put him back down. Like I wasn't cuddling him or anything like that. I wasn't showing him no love. You know, and some, like, loads of people at the hostel would notice it and they would get him out and give him cuddles, etc. And then basically a few weeks later, Michael had found us, and there was the added stress of that. And then basically when he was 9 weeks old, he had been crying for, I'd say, 8 hours, maybe more, non-stop. And I remember picking him up and I looked out the window and I thought, if I threw you out there, you'd shut up. And as soon as that thought registered in my mind, I was like, shit. So I put him down in the middle of a big double bed. He couldn't roll over, he couldn't do anything. And I went downstairs outside the hostel, I smoked 4 cigarettes, and that's when I got on the phone to social services to say, I can't cope, you know. The second, like, having a thought of wishing someone would kidnap him is different, you know, like, that was the first thought that came to my head of me hurting him. Like, you know, if I threw you out there, you'd shut up. And it registered with me and I was like, no, I can't have that. So I went downstairs, called social services. They had a foster couple. The reason that I wanted him to go into foster care was because I knew then that I would have to work really hard to get him back. And I would have to really work at it. Whereas if he went to stay with a member of the family, I didn't have to work so hard. But the couple that he found, I did not want him to go there. They were very religious, and I wanted him to go to an English family. These 2 people were black, and it's got nothing to do with the colour of their skin. It's the fact that they were highly religious. Even if they were Polish, I just wanted him to go to an English family, because that's just what I was comfortable with. But that wasn't available, so he went to stay with my mum, and he's been there ever since. You know, like, at first it was a relief because I didn't have to get up in the morning or anything like that, you know. He wasn't, like, when I found out I was pregnant, I was going to have a termination, but Michael said if I did that, then I had to leave. And, you know, he would kill me and all these things like that, you know. So at that age, I wasn't having a baby because I wanted to be a mum, you know. And I think that's obviously where the massive problem started. You know, I wasn't doing this because I wanted to be a mum. It was sort of forced situation. But yeah, basically, because he went to live with my mum, I'll hold my hands up and say it was like, wow, I still get to be a mum, but I can still do whatever the hell I want, you know, and that's it. That's what I did. Yeah, in this special box, he doesn't get to see his dad anymore. I still see him all the time. But yeah, so basically, this is something that I wanted to keep for him. Just to show that his dad is not all bad. Like, I don't badmouth his dad around him or anything like that. But this is, to me, this one. This is a Valentine's Day card. So let me just get this out and read this to you. To Tony, and then it's got, like, the writing in the card. I can't describe the happiness that comes from all you do. And he's put big hugs and kisses. I can't describe the love I feel for you in every way. A love that just grows stronger with the passing of each day. That's why today and every day I hope you can see you'll always be my Valentine, the only one for me. And then basically, with all my love, he's put a little heart round it. And he's put Mikey. And he's put, my sexy, beautiful little lady. You're so good to me. Thank you for being there when I need you. Like I had a choice. This card pretty much says it all, honey. I'm no good at writing. I hope you like it. But I wanted to keep something so that I can show Caden that his dad wasn't awful. This was a Mother's Day card that Michael bought for me. It says, Mummy, this card is small and sweet like me. And then it's just a me to you bear card that says, especially for you, Mummy. And then he's put, to Mummy, thank you for being the bestest mum a boy could have. Not true. Happy Mother's Day. I love you loads and loads. Lots of love, your son Caden. And then love and hugs, your son Caden, with some kisses. So that was something nice that he did for me. So I kept that for Caden as well. And then I've also got this. Now, this was a while after, but he's put a little heart on the back. This is a get well soon card because I was in hospital. If get well thoughts were flowers wished for you today, there'd be so many lovely ones you'd have a whole bouquet. See how many times I've read it? To Tony, Mummy, I'm sorry I can't be with you, Mummy. This is because he was living with my mum now. And you're not feeling well. I'm thinking of you and I hope you get better soon. I love you, Mummy. Little man, Caden. And then underneath that, Michael wrote, I love you so much, Tony. I'm so sorry you're not well. And I will take care of you until you're feeling a lot better. Please stay with me, alright? Because we need each other. All of us. Love you, Tony. Love Daddy. Mikey. And then he's put kisses. And then I'm just gonna have to cover up the bottom because it's got his prison number, but this was his prison card. Which the only reason I've got that in there is for me, but for Caden as well when he gets a bit older. You know, I mean, he already knows some of the things. He's a very, very clever 9-year-old. And, you know, he knows enough. Michael, when Caden was 9 months old, Michael actually fractured my spine. He threw me down He threw me down 3 flights of stairs and I fractured my spine and hurt myself. So, that is not good. Not good at all. Right, let me just... They've been in here so long that you've got a little... And then you've got a little white square where this goes. And then let's put that back together. But Caden, you know, even though I was in a ginormous mental crisis, I still kept in my head, you know, that Caden comes first, you know. The second that bad thing registered in my brain, I called social services myself. And unfortunately, there are millions of children out there that don't have mums like that, that will just, you know, because they don't want social services involved, they will keep it to themselves or whatever, but that doesn't do, you know, the babies any good. The thing is, you know, although it's hard, it broke my heart doing it. It was the hardest thing, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But in the long run, it was what was best for him, because I was in no state to look after him. I was looking after him physically, but just not emotionally. Now, I'd like to share here something else positive. This is his baby book. So, let's just open this up. Waiting for baby. He was due on the 9th of March, but he came on the 27th of February. Now, what we've got here is, hang on, let's have a look. Let's just see if we can get you in. These are the names that we were going to call him if he was a girl or a boy. So we've got Rocky, Joshua, Caden Michael, James or Scott. And if he was a girl, Ruby, Lily Rose, Liana or Hope. And which is really funny is my daughter's name is actually Lily Rose Ruby. When I was 31 weeks pregnant, he did try to come a little bit too soon. This is our first picture together. I look horrendous, I know, but this is us. This is his little hospital tag. Tiny little hospital tag here. He had reddish brown hair when he was born. He was 47 centimetres long. His head circumference was 32. He weighed 7 pound 12 ounces. My dad's first impressions. He loved you so much and worshipped the ground you walked on. Never forget how much he loved you. I did try and put that. And the other funny thing is, when my sister came to visit, he puked in her blazer pocket. So, now onto this. Now this is a big collage that I've put in there. But, so this is me, and this is me at Christmas 2008 when I was pregnant with him. This here is my mum. That's my mum, and that's him after he was born. This is me. This is my cousin. She passed away when she was 23 in a motorcycle accident, which is really upsetting to me. But I'm wearing a top that says, I love my bump or something. Oh no, my bump rocks with Eeyore on it. So there he is in there. This is me when I was younger and an old friend Lisa. This is my dad. This is my granddad. This is my mum's ex-husband. This is my mum's ex-husband's kids. And then here, he was living with my mum at this stage. That's my mum's sister. That's my sister. That's Luke, which is her, these are her two children. This is Jessica again. This is my cousin who passed away. And then this here is my nan. And this here is Caden. Have we got anything else interesting in here? Oh, we do have it. Actually have something quite funny. On his first haircut, I got the first lock of his hair being cut. And I don't know if you can tell, but I took the bottom bit off of a packet of cigarettes because that's all I had to catch it in. And can you see the price of cigarettes here? This was £4.66 for 20 cigarettes. It's definitely not that much anymore. But that was his first lock of hair. So I think the reason that I wanted to do this video is just to, you know, just to say to someone and to offer someone support, or if someone's in the same situation and they don't know what to do, or if you just want someone to talk to, I'm here, you know, because I've been through it, you know. And you know what I think over these years has taught me is that I did the right thing. It was hard, and whatever, but I did the right thing for my son. If I had carried on, who knows, I may have ended up hurting him, you know. Deep down, I don't think I would have done, because that's just me. But, you know, postnatal depression is a very scary place to be. A very, very scary place to be, because you're looking after this baby that, you don't have any affections towards. Well, I didn't at the time. So at the time, I really did sort of see it as a chore and whatever, and obviously, especially because Caden was an accident because we were being careful. You know, I've got a funny feeling that Michael was sabotaging the condoms or lying and not putting one on or whatever, but I thought I was having safe sex. So when you have safe sex, it's because you don't want to fall pregnant. And all of these mind games, mind torture, and everything is what ended up, I wasn't equipped, or I didn't have a supportive partner, I was in a dangerously violent relationship whilst I was pregnant. And yes, after the women's refuge, I did go back there, but that's because I had no support circle around me. No one was coming to see me, nothing, So, yeah, so if you are going through the same thing or you just want to talk, then I'm going to leave because I've got an agony aunt channel as well. It's just Mrs. TJ Sparkle. It's down below. There's an email down below if you're suffering and you want some advice, whether you want me to voice it on here or not, it doesn't matter. Just email down below and I will get back to you. Straight as soon as I get the email, I'll get back to you. This is not something you have to suffer with alone. Not just me, but there are other charities out there as well. When I do get the time tomorrow, I will make sure that in the description I put links in to some charities that help with this kind of thing. But yeah, so that's the story on how my son went to live with my mum. I hope that this made you feel like you're a little bit more, you know a little bit more about me and something new that you didn't know. But most of all, thank you for listening, and yeah, just comment in the comment section down below your thoughts on this. Did I do the right thing? And yeah, so all I'm going to do is just say good night and goodbye, guys.